What up, what up, what up? My name is Chris. This is my YouTube channel, and now I have 1,000 subscribers. How did this happen? Most things in my life I do with maximum effort and attention to detail, but this YouTube channel has been really just very spontaneous and very low effort from me. I literally just come out to my garage on a Sunday with an idea in my head, kind of talk off the cuff, like I'm doing to you right now, and people still seem to want to watch. So thank you very much for subscribing. I want to do a video today about one of my favorite things in my home game. So file this under home poker tutorial. I want to talk about fixed limit games or mixed games. I'm going to tell you why you should have mixed games in your home game. I'm going to tell you how to get players on board with doing mixed games, which can be the most difficult challenge, especially if your home game is based on no limit hold'em. And thirdly and finally, I'm going to do a quick tutorial on how to play one fixed limit game, hold'em, in fixed limit style. So going forward, there will be other videos where I do tutorials on how to play all the mixed games, okay? The reason you should inject other games besides hold'em into your home game, there's two reasons. One is I believe every home game needs a healthy injection of vitamin F. And what is vitamin F? Vitamin F is fun. You need a hot, steaming injection of fun into your game. And for me, in my garage here, on a cash game night, when we're playing a bunch of different poker games, there's nothing more fun. Mixed games are super fun. The fine folks over on PokerChipForum.com call mixed games circus games. And they call it that for a reason, because it's crazy. It's up, it's down, it's using your brain in different ways. Mixed games are a hell of a lot of fun. The second reason you should be getting mixed games into the mix, so to speak, in your home game, is for sustainability. Now, you could have a no-limit hold'em tournament once a month for a decade or more. Probably you could get away with that. Cash games, if all you're doing is no-limit hold'em, or maybe no-limit hold'em and pot limit Omaha, these are big bet games, yeah, they're fun. People are going to stop coming. You are going to have attrition in your home game, guaranteed, if all you're playing is big bet games. And that's why when I say mixed games, I'm really talking about fixed limit games. And I would encourage you to bring fixed limit games into the mix, especially in your cash game, for sustainability. So you can have a game like mine or others that have gone even longer. Mine's going on 15 years. There's others, home games that I know of that have been going on for 20 years. And they don't play no limit hold'em every night with, $500,000 swings. Nobody likes to be the big loser every week or every month, and it's a lot more apparent who is the big loser when all you're playing is big bet poker. So when I say mixed games, I'm talking about fixed limit games, and that's what I encourage you to bring into your home game. Let's move on to phase two, which is how do I convince players to try out fixed limit or mixed games? That is tough. The best advice I can give to you is to talk to your players. If you're hosting a regular no limit hold'em game, whether it's cash or tournament, I would talk to them before you're playing, while you're playing, after you're playing, and feel it out. Be casual about it. But you may be surprised at how many people are open to the idea. Going forward, on your cash game night, all you normally play is no limit hold'em or pot limit Omaha. Think about throwing a fixed limit game into the mix. Now, there are all kinds of fixed limit games. One guideline that I like to use, and it's what all my plaques are based on, this is all the games we play on a cash game night. It's quite a few. The guideline I use for these games is the World Series of Poker Dealer's Choice event. I went to the WSOP.com, I looked at the old World Series of Poker schedule, and found a structure sheet for the Dealer's Choice event, and these are all the games, and there's even a little bit more here. For this video, we're going to be talking about fixed limit games. If you do fixed limit betting, one thing that I love about fixed limit, I like to have fixed limit cash game nights where all we play is fixed limit, and if I do that, I like to bust out my big ass limit set, which is 1,200 $1 chips, and then a rack of $20 chips, plus another barrel of $100 chips. And I make people buy in for $100, and it really doesn't play like a big game, but what's cool about it is that when you buy in for $100, you get an entire rack, and you get 100 chips in front of you, which is really a lot of fun. Because as the night wears on, people are a lot more comfortable reloading this amount, and as the night wears on, you'll get mountains of chips, which is really a lot of fun to play with. So that, I'd recommend doing a night where it's all fixed limit if you can get away with it. The way that it's gonna have to work most likely with your group, especially if they're already used to no limit hold'em and big bet games, is there gonna have to be a mixture of fixed limit and no limit. When you think you have enough players that would come to a cash game night with mixed games, send out your invitation and let them know, whether you use Evite or whether you're texting or however you do it, let them know that it's dealer's choice, meaning whoever gets the button gets to choose the game. Now, I know I said earlier I got all my games from WSOP Dealer's Choice event. That's a lot of games. If this is your first mixed game night, don't use all those games. Instead, I would just maybe pick 8 games, an 8-game mix or a 10-game mix. If your group is a big bet group, definitely include No Limit Hold'em, I think that's fine, and Pot Limit Omaha, if you guys like that game. That's a big game. And then, 4 or 5 or 6 fixed limit games. And if you really don't know which games to choose, I would go with Horse, which is Hold'em, Limit, Omaha, 8 or better, fixed limit is always fun. Raz, which is 7 stud low ball, 7 card stud high only, and 7 card stud 8 high low, and maybe another fixed limit variety of Hold'em like Crazy Pineapple or something like that. All of these games, I'm going to tell you how to play them, not in this video. First, I want to start with just the concept of fixed limit betting, and to do that, we're going to go over Limit Hold'em. Very exciting, but I do think it's important that you understand how fixed limit betting works, so when you integrate fixed limit games into your cash game, you'll know what you're doing, and other players will as well. Okay, so that concludes part 2, how to convince your fellow players. Basically, you got to ask them. And if they seem amenable, then go for it and have them come to cash game night. You don't need to emphasize that it's going to be dealer's choice, but you do need to mention it, and you do need to provide a list of the games that you're going to play. Like I said, make it a shorter list for the first time. It'll be a lot easier. Let's get into the tutorial on how to play a fixed limit game. And we're going to start with a game we all know and love, Hold'em. Fixed limit Hold'em. Yeah, good times. So you want to play a fixed limit. Why would you play a fixed limit version of Hold'em? Well, it really is a different skill set. And this is one game for your first time. You may not want to do it because you've already got No Limit Hold'em. It's fine to eliminate this, but I think for a fixed limit tutorial like we're going to go over right now, I think this is a good place to start. My group now enjoys playing Limit Hold'em. We have a $50 buy-in and a $100 reload if you're felted, and we do have big bet games in our mix, but then we also have fixed limit games. We do like to do Limit Hold'em once in a while just because it's a different skill set. Now with our 25 cent, 50 cent blinds, when we go limit, we double everything. So instead of 25 cent, 50 cent blinds, we do 50 cent dollar, which really I think is probably still too small. If you're doing 25 cent, 50 cent blinds for no limit, you can make it $1 and $2 for the blinds. So let's do that, because I just haven't gotten around to convincing my group to do that. But really a good size, if you're 25 cent, 50, you can go $1, $2. Small blind, big blind, right? Just like Hold'em that we all know and love. All the fixed limit games, whether it's a board game like Hold'em or Omaha, or if it's a stud game, or if it's a draw game, or if you're playing fixed limit Badoogie, any game that you play fixed limit, the first 2 rounds of betting, the only amount you can bet is the small bet. And what is the small bet? The small bet is the big blind. Hope that makes sense and it's not confusing. So $2 is all you can bet for these first 2 rounds of Hold'em. Now this also does translate to stud. It's a little different. I'm going to have a separate stud video to get into that. But the idea is the same. You have a small bet and a big bet. The small bet is for the first 2 streets of betting. The big bet is for all the streets beyond that. So pre-flop, you've got a round of betting and it's $2 to go. And people can either call or raise or fold. I've got guys in my game going on over 15 years that always ask the same thing: how much can I bet? If it's pre-flop, I just point to the big blind. I say, that's it. Fold, call, or raise. And if you raise, you put out $4. And you just say raise. Don't even have to say an amount because it's only one amount. Raise. And it goes around. Other guys can say call. And it's $4. There you go. And you got a nice sized pot already. You've already got $12 in the middle. Out comes the flop. We all know this game. Action is to the left of the button. And again, the only amount you can bet is the small bet. And the small bet is the same as the big blind. So whoever is first to act, if they say bet, they don't have to say an amount, they can just say bet. They put out $2. And it's $2 to go. If somebody wants to raise, they can say raise, and they'll put out $4 because they're doubling the bet. Raise. $4 to go. Comes back around and he calls. So then we've got another $8 in the middle. Now we are past the first 2 rounds of betting. We are going to the 3rd round of betting in Hold'em. This is called 4th Street. 4th Street and beyond in every fixed limit game. It's not quite right in stud, but after the 2nd round of betting in every fixed limit game, if you're the 3rd round of betting or beyond, it's double the big blind. So $4 is the bet. So if somebody wants to bet, they say bet, and they put out $4. Anybody else wants to call, they say call, and they put out 4. If they say raise, they got to put out 8. Fixed limit betting is very simple. So this guy says raise, raise. The other guy says call. Okay, well that's, now we got another $16 in the pot. So because you're not playing big bet poker, it doesn't mean you're not going to have sizable pots. But the thing about fixed limit is you're not going to blast off your entire stack. Right now, if I had started with $100, I would still have $80 in my stack, approximately, if I was in this hand and I had seen those bets. Go to the river. And what can I bet? Well, it's the big bet. The big bet is twice the big blind, so it's $4. That's it. Simple. You can bet, check, bet or check when it's to you. Then if you bet, then the other guy can call or raise. That's it. Fixed limit. There's also another very important limit you should know about, and that is what we call a betting cap limit. In casinos, typically in a fixed limit game, a maximum number of bets that can be out there is 5. In other words, there can be only 5 big bets or 5 small bets, depending what street you're on. In a home game, I like to keep it at 4, so there can only be 3 raises total. Somebody bets, $4. Somebody else raises, that's 1 raise. Somebody else raises, that's 2 raises. Somebody else raises, that's 3 raises. That's 4 bets. That's the maximum you can bet. In casinos, it's 5. Also in casinos, when it gets to be heads up, they don't have a cap on the betting. So they can re-raise each other until they're all in. In a home game, my advice to you, the whole point of having fixed limit in your home game is that so somebody doesn't stack off in a single hand. My advice to you is to cap it even when it's heads up. Take it or leave it. I cap it when it's heads up, and I have 3 raises maximum. 4 bets total is all any player can put out on any given street. Hope that makes sense. It's a lot of fun, fixed limit, trust me. When you play it, it goes a lot faster. This is very evident in card rooms. If you ever go into a card room and you're at a fixed limit table, you get about literally twice as many hands in fixed limit as you do in no limit, because the decisions are a lot easier and the game just moves a lot faster. The street of decision, which is the 3rd betting round, whether it's stud or hold'em, good limit players have already decided if they're seeing the river or not. So that means it's going to be very fast. The decision's already been made. And that makes it a lot of fun. For me, I really enjoy that element of it, that people are not going into the tank every street for no reason. As a matter of fact, if you do start to go into the tank in a fixed limit game in a card room, you're going to get the stink eye, and somebody's probably going to say something, because this is a lot more math-based, it's a lot more card-centric, and that also frees up the players. In a home game, we talk a lot of shit to each other, in tournaments and no-limit hold'em, but it goes up exponentially when you're playing fixed limit, because it's really hard to influence the action. If you're playing fixed limit correctly, you've already decided past the street of decision if you're going to check call or if you're going to be raising. The decisions have already been made, so that means you can have a lot of chatter and a lot of table talk. You can pretty much almost say anything. You can't really say what you have, and you don't want to get too detailed on what somebody else is doing, but it's a lot of chatter and a lot of fun. So I highly recommend you indulge in fixed limit and mixed games. A lot of people, when I say mixed games, they think, well, big bet games as well. That is part of the mix, but I'm encouraging fixed limit. Hope this all makes sense. Please ask questions in the comments. I've been doing this for a long time, and I'm trying to, be helpful for people who are just starting out. And if I talk too fast or something's unclear, please ask, because I will make every effort to respond if I can. I thank you so much for watching. The next video, I'm going to do a tutorial on 7-card stud. Woohoo! Which will be a little less philosophical and a lot more mechanical. Exactly how to play 7-card stud, and exactly how to teach your players to play 7-card stud. Stud's a great game. It's a lot of fun. I prefer the high-low, but next video it'll be high only, 7-card stud. Can't wait to do that one, and hopefully I'll do it soon. Please like and subscribe if you like and you want to subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. Like I said, if I forgot anything, let me know in the comments and I will fill it all in. Thanks a lot. I'll see you next time. Peace.